Well, you don't know that you didn't want it until you've got it in front of you. So we were really smart, and we were selling it for 10 cents a glass. But here's the reality of it. Everyone there that stopped to get the lemonade, their perception of us was, hey, look at these kids have a lemonade stand. That's all that they know about us, right? Now they could come up with ideas of, are they really trying to do something good for people? Are they out to just make a quick dime, right? Are they, who knows? You can make up whatever it is that you want, but they didn't know the backstory. Maybe they didn't realize how much fun these children were having in creating first the lemonade. Well, no, actually, it would have been first creating the idea, right? The idea of, let's do a lemonade stand.
Yep.
And then they created the lemonade. And then they had to gather a table and a couple of chairs, and they had to make a sign that says lemonade 10 cents, right? Oh, and then we had to, last minute, where did the cups come from?
Ah,
So
yes.
we actually had to go to the
Great.
neighbor, and the neighbor had some disposable cups. So we borrowed the disposable cups from the neighbor, and then we were able to put our stand into action. And there were people who came and purchased from the stand, and the stand was successful for the day that we had it up. And I remember the how much joy I had in serving that lemonade, because so many people were thanking us for doing it. And I wasn't a lemonade salesman. That wasn't my dream. That but
Really?
it was the adventure in getting
Yeah.
it was the adventure in getting there that created the end result, which people were responding to in a very positive way.
That's fantastic. And Aaron, you're such a great storyteller. I think you've got a story for every occasion, actually, just knowing you a little bit. But hey, look, I just want to step back a bit because I think we may have had a technical glitch momentarily as you started telling that story about your lemonade stand, Aaron. I'm not quite sure that we were live across all our mediums. So what I'm going to do, if you've just joined us now, what I want to do is just let you know what Aaron and I are actually talking about today. And we're talking about the quote that your identity isn't defined by your dreams you've achieved, but by who you've become and where you've landed in the process of chasing them. So Aaron just relayed that wonderful story about the whole process it took him and his friends at the tender age of 8 to go about making this lemonade stand. So it was right down to sort of how do they make the lemonade, first of all, source the lemons and so on. The whole process involved getting the chairs, right down to nearly forgetting the cups to give people the lemonade. So it's about the process. It's not necessarily the end result. And that's what we want to sort of talk to you about, because as we go through various things in our life and achieve things, often it's the steps that we've actually implemented to get ourselves to the end result that are really the things that are going to stay with us forever and then allow us to keep moving up and up, up and up. Because what we've done is that we've actually disciplined ourselves in various ways, or we've had to learn new things in order to get to that final destination. So some of the things, like, just coming from a subconscious perspective, some of the things that can hold you back from getting to reaching those levels or believing in yourself. Now, believing in yourself is a key thing, because without believing in yourself, you often don't really go for your dreams. You don't really, you maybe half-heartedly, but always those voices in your head, those negative voices and things that you're telling yourself stop you. So, from a subconscious perspective, those are the sorts of things that I take a look at and help you move past them by releasing them and, well, first of all, identifying them and then releasing them. So, that's very important to have both sides of this equation, because many times people don't understand why they're not being successful. Aaron, do you want to add a bit more on that?
Well, sure. From the conscious perspective, you might ask yourself, well, why didn't I achieve what it is that I wanted to achieve? And you can give yourself all of the reasons, and the reasons are excuses from the conscious side. But what Helen is talking is about the unconscious programming. When we were a child, someone might have said something to us, well, and we took those things to heart. Those are our beliefs, our reality. Oh, no one's going to buy your lemonade, or you're not good enough to build that lemonade stand, or who do you think you are to go and do that? Did you get a business license? Right? So all of these doubts and fears and things come up. Well, let's go back to the story and let's talk about what really happened, because that's what it's about, is the journey, right? And so as an 8-year-old boy, I didn't have any of those doubts in my mind. My mind was made up when my mother said, "Hey, sure would be nice to have a glass of lemonade today."
Yeah.
And my brain exploded with the idea. And within an hour later, we had our lemonade stand up and running. And my mom didn't know that her simple comment had sparked that creative instinct inside of me. And
Yeah,
and where we're
definitely.
going with this, that 8-year-old kid, they didn't know what they didn't know. And fear
Yeah,
wasn't an obstacle. All they knew
yeah,
is, okay, this is what I want to do. Let's do it, right?
yeah,
But then sometimes we grow up through life, and we hear things like, well, money's not important. Or we hear things like money's the root of all evil, even though
yeah,
that's not
that conditioning.
said. And then we'll we'll hear negative comments and things from people that we know, like, love, and trust.
Yeah,
And those become the unconscious programs that we're not consciously aware of, that are limiting us and holding us back from accomplishing our dreams. And then again, it's the journey that you go through to accomplish those dreams, and not the dream itself, that really defines your your persona, your
yeah.
character, who it is that you are inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we've got anybody watching us at the moment, and we have got some viewers live, so thank you very much for joining us. Hey, share your experiences with us. Tell us something that perhaps you've learned on the process of achieving either your success, or what perhaps has been holding you back from going for your goals, wanting to be successful, and actually achieving that success. Because this is for you. Aaron and I want to be helping you understand why you are the way you are in this life, and where you are at this stage in your life, and how you can move forward if that's what you're wanting to do. So, if you've got any comments whatsoever, just share them with us. We'd love to see them. Okay, so bring that on. So just on that subconscious side again, Aaron, just for anybody who's watching who doesn't understand what we do on the subconscious side, I just want to quickly explain how that process works. So, first of all, anybody we're working with, the number one thing that we always do is, first of all, get your permission. We never ever work with anybody on their subconscious level without first getting your buy-in and you're okay to do so. Because what we're doing is we're actually tapping into your unique energy signature. And once we've tapped into that, we can actually use muscle testing or kinesiology to actually identify, what may be holding you back from different things that you've identified with us. So we normally just have a bit of a chat, find out where you're at in your life, what you're wanting to have happen, any blocks you think you may have, whether that's pain or discomfort, or whether it's being successful in relationships or around money or around success. And then we work with those, and we actually, use your subconscious, which is this wonderfully powerful computer, to actually give us that information. And muscle testing, anybody can do. Chiropractors use that all the time. And Dr. Bradley Nelson, who developed the system, was in fact a chiropractor for many, many years. And now he's moved solely into the emotion code and the body code systems, and promoting that. So how do you muscle test? Easy. You can either use a sway test, is where you stand up and you ask yourself a positive question, and if then you'll move forward, sway forward if the answer is yes, and you'll sway back if the answer is no. So the best way to teach yourself this is just to have a whole series of questions, yes, no, and then just practice, 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 practice. And that's how you get really good at doing it. So the sway test is one, and that's sometimes good if you're in the supermarket and you want to know if a food's good for you or not. So you can do that. But the way I do it is I use like my 3 fingers here into a circle here, and I simply muscle test. So a yes is that I don't break the circle. A no is that I do break the circle. And it's very sensitive. I'm not using any pressure at all, and I quickly ask the question and I get a yes or no result. So that's basically how we do it. And then we just use your own energy system within your body to create the intent to release whatever energy, negative energy we identify, and then it's gone, just like that. So sometimes there's a little bit of processing, which is where you can feel echoes of those feelings, but most often they're not. 4 times out of 5, you'll just feel absolutely nothing, except perhaps feeling better, lighter, great. So, Aaron, that's how we do it on the subconscious side of things. How do you manage this on a conscious level?
Well, let's bring it back into perspective, because we're talking about our quote today, and it's the journey that makes you who you are, and not the accomplishment or lack of accomplishment of any dream that defines who you are. So first off, let's say that this is a very, very safe space to be in. And you're never going to achieve anything in life without becoming first vulnerable enough to share the true passion or intention of your dream. You know,
Can I just, yeah, and just interrupting on that, like share the passion of your dream, but also really good just to add that, you know, we don't always have to know the full story in order to get you to that level. So sorry, Aaron, carry on.
no, that's fine. I was just going to give the example that
Yeah.
you ever tried to accomplish something, and you've heard the story, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Mm.
So maybe there was something that you were going to do. Maybe you wanted to return something at a store, and you went in and you had decided that, I was just really unhappy with this product, and I was really unsatisfied, and I'm grumpy about it, and I'm just going to, voice my displeasure in my current reality of the world based on this merchandise that I purchased that didn't do or behave the way that I wanted to. When in reality, if you had chosen maybe to go in with kindness and simply say, I'm in dismay. And this happened to me yesterday with Apple. I went in with a product that had failed 28 days out of warranty. And at first response, they said they couldn't help me. And then I went in with, I was in with kindness. And because I was in there with kindness, the lady kindly asked me, she says, I understand that the manager here just, declined your approval for repair. Would you like me to escalate this? And those words, they kind of triggered me. And I said, is there a way that we can escalate this in kindness? And she says, absolutely. And that's the only reason I asked you that, was because you have been so kind through the whole process. And so we put in a note, and it took 2 hours for the regional manager to get back with me. But the regional manager looked at a few things. He saw, number one, that I have 7 Apple products
Yeah.
registered and currently being used, and that I've had none of them fail, you know, within the warranty period or outside of a warranty period, and that I've been using them for years and years. And also the fact that I wanted to give this current iPad to my daughter for her birthday happening next month. And so he took all of those things into consideration because he had the authority and the power to do that. Now, just been a jerk, that clerk would not have offered me so kindly to escalate my complaint. And if I had, and if she had, just because she felt required to, if she had, she wouldn't have been able to relay the kind message that I had to her superior. And by doing that, I was able, well, to catch more flies with honey than I was with vinegar. And so that's
Absolutely.
really. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Look, and that's exactly it. So what people need to realize, it's the little things that they've built up over time that actually add to their success. So for you, when you were speaking about that, what went through my mind was the difference between going in with all guns blazing, wanting an outcome, and being like really calm, measured, considerate, nice to, the staff, understanding even in the face of rejection. And, what that gave you was a different result, which ultimately added to your success. And so I think it's people understanding that it's not necessarily the big things, that it's all the little things that we do with ourselves that lead us on that path.
Yeah. And Helen, I saw we had a comment come through. What
Yeah.
was, were you able to read
So
that?
let me just bring it up again. It was from Lisa. And so Lisa had said that her spiritual growth has been a key part of her progress before joining the Inside Out Institute. And so do you want to respond to that, or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like the whole purpose of our quote is, it's the journey that really defines who you are, and how you handle that journey. Because if you handle the journey in opposition, guess what you're going to be faced with?
Yeah, no brainer.
If you've learned how to love and you've learned to reach that spiritual, well, communion, well, you might just be open to the ideas of others. And well, we call that empathy. And there's a lot of people out there who are empathic. And did you know that that's actually, for some it's a natural ability, but others, that is a learned spiritual gift. And for me, that's something that I had when I was young, but because I was short and I was bullied a lot in school, I had red hair and freckles. I was the ginger and I got picked on. I got a chip on my shoulder. And it wasn't until later on in life when I realized that I could actually achieve something, I could accomplish something, that I humbled myself enough to go back into the empathy and
Yeah,
listen to what others had to say and
yeah.
learn what there was to learn from the journey instead of trying to just battle my way through something. So, thank you so much for sharing your perspective on this. Everything is a spiritual journey in a way.
And I just want to add, I, I know Lisa. I've been watching Lisa for, since she joined, and she has the most beautiful presence about her and aura. And I've heard some people say that, they can also see her beautiful aura and angelic presence around her. And I think, it's a journey that she got to have that spiritual awareness that's then led her to joining the Inside Out Institute and being part of this amazing journey that we are all on. And if you don't know what that is, Aaron, tell our viewers where we're heading with this, where we're heading with the Inside Out Institute.
Well, if they haven't figured it out already, let's make it really simple. So I'm an NLP master trainer, and my job is to teach the art of communication. And, all communication has a background and a story and a very systematic approach to it. Well, the same thing happens with our relationships. And so, from a conscious perspective, how do you organize things in such a way to get them to be, well, congruent with each other, right? And that leads you to the unconscious mind and making friends with the best friend, well, that you should have inside yourself first. But my understanding has become that a lot of us have no longer learned or have friends with ourselves. And that's where someone so beautiful as Lisa came on, and even better, Helen here next to me. She is a practitioner of emotion code and body code. And so our emotions come from our body, and they all are, how do you say, expressions of the unconscious mind. All of these things have information in them, and that's what our emotions are for. They're for information. Well, Helen has spent a long time developing her skill set in becoming that emotional intelligence practitioner. And so in the Inside Out, we take that emotional intelligence side and that conscious awareness side, and we teach them how to be friends again.
Yeah. And, just to share with our viewers, also, I was very, I don't know how to put it, maybe fortunate, unfortunate, like in order for me to actually find this beautiful modality of understanding how our emotions get trapped in our bodies and how they have a profound effect on our health and well-being, I had to go through a great hardship to become aware of this. And I lost my daughter a couple of years ago when she was 18 in an accident. And in that time of extreme grief, I was shown and guided to, I believe, the emotion code. And within a couple of days, I just had this powerful, powerful change in the way I felt, the way I acted, everything. So as I released more and more grief and emotions from within my body, I got this beautiful sense of calm and beautiful sense of being in control and being able to manage my life rather than being a boat without a rudder going wherever life took me, which is pretty much how I was living a lot of my life pre this happening. Now I'm 55 years old, so I've lived many, many years, as that rudderless boat. So to now get to this beautiful place where not only am I able to feel that calm and being in control and that beautiful love from everybody around me and happiness again, I'm also able to help others go on that same journey and feel that themselves. And so that's why I think, coming back to our quote, that is why it's really good to have understanding of the steps, the processes that we've been through in order to reach levels of success in our life. Now, Aaron, success, like some people think of success purely as, financial, but it's not financial. Success can be in any area of our life. So how would you like to expand on that for us?
Well, let's go back. If you've been watching from the beginning, let's go back to the lemonade stand. First, here's the one. Let's go back. I have something that I like to call the first lie. And the first lie is anything that you tell yourself that isn't a fact, that isn't part of the equation, because we all have things that, well, those are the unconscious beliefs, right? And those unconscious beliefs are the things that limit our success. So what if there were no unconscious beliefs that were holding you back? What if you truly, like I did, as that 8-year-old kid, believed, oh, well, then let's just have a lemonade stand. My mom said that a glass of lemonade would be good today, and she's absolutely right. And so that innocent little child that I was didn't know that there wasn't such a thing as success. I went out and I did it. And when I hit an obstacle, like we didn't have the cups, I went to the neighbor's house and we borrowed the cups from the neighbor. And when we were done with our lemonade stand, we paid the neighbor for their cups. Now,
Yes.
they could have charged, who knows, maybe they charged me 25 cents more than what they paid for those cups. So they were successfully financially by loaning me those cups, right? But also the lemonade stand was a success. And that lemonade stand, even if I sold one glass of lemonade and didn't make any money, the
The
idea
spirit.
and the process was successful.
Yep.
And I made a difference in somebody's life that day because they got a cold glass of fresh lemonade.
Yeah. And the fact that you remember this story, particular story, after all this time shows you how important that was in your life. It's those lessons. And sometimes I think we can get so involved with day-to-day life that we forget, all the wonderful experiences that we have to draw off that can move us through perhaps some challenging times that we may have within our day. And I think that's the beauty of what we do here at the Inside Out Institute is that we're constantly learning and putting into place daily habits and things that will always allow our days to run as smooth as they possibly can. There's maybe always going to be glitches here and there, but it's having the techniques and the tools in place to manage them and be able to move past them and things like that. So this is what I see as all the invaluable things that lead to our success, are all the little things that we're putting into place either on a daily basis or that we can draw from the past to apply to an experience and so on. So yeah, I just think it's just not the success itself, because very, very quickly we can forget that success we've had. Like I've had some amazing successes in my life, but that's not what I typically remember on a day-to-day basis. It's experiences and it's the feelings I have around me that are much more important. And I think the more success we attract into our life, the more we attract that. So we become more and more successful. We become better at attracting people around us that can help us. We become better at opening ourselves up to being able to listen to others' perspectives and points of view. And we become better at allowing ourselves to learn and to grow and to do all those sorts of things, which again just contribute to greater success at the end of the day. So yeah, my thoughts around that, Aaron.
Yeah. And well, let's bring it home.
Okay.
For everyone out there who is wondering, well, how did all of these successes happen? They happened one step at a time.
Yeah.
And maybe there's someone out there who's watching this who isn't very successful right now in life. And the idea comes from, like, back at the beginning with the story of the lemonade stand. It was the thought first that created the potential of the dream and the reality. The reality is what happened. It was the action steps that led following the potential. So it was a faith. The potential was a faith. It was following blindly the faith that this could happen. So the very fact that I believed that lemonade would be good today, because my mom said a glass of lemonade would be good today, created the dream and then the reality of that lemonade stand. That is manifestation 101. It happened within an hour time frame. Somebody said a glass of lemonade would be good. An hour later, a lemonade stand was born. That is manifestation, acting first on the thought, the belief, the faith, the fruition. So there was a comment that came up, and I don't know what that comment was, and maybe we can pull that back up just before we close. But I think we're wrapping up here, and
Yeah.
if you were watching, trust the positive thoughts, take faith, take a step forward in the belief of what it is that you want to do, and believe it or not, you'll find a way to make it happen. See, and so
So it's,
Aaron. So
yeah.
I'm not sure what she was referring to, but I think she was being kind.
Yeah, she was being very, very kind. Just saying that, I'm a beautiful soul and so are you, Aaron. So thank
Uh,
you very much, Lisa, for your thoughts around that. That was just beautiful to hear from you and have you participating as always. And hey, look, if anybody is watching and you're not already following us, please go and follow us. We want to be building up a really great community where we can sort of help you with whatever may be happening in your life, sharing our insights, but also the primary aim is to really be reaching out and helping people out there with any sort of queries you have. So by all means, just go and follow us and click on those notifications so you know that when we're going live next, but it's normally this time every Friday. And and like us and share hearts, and because we love you, joining us and being part of our journey with us. So Aaron, do you think anything left that you'd like to add?
take the first small step in faith to make the dream the reality, and the journey is worth the reward.
I see. I so love Aaron. He's so logical. I'm so emotional. That's why we make a great team. Okay, thanks everybody. We're just going to finish off with our intro video. So good to have you along, and we'll to bring the inside out. Have you ever wondered what other people see in your mirror? The world as we know it is both our perception and our projection. I'm sorry to say that what you see is what you get. And at the same time, there can be nothing greater than that. You see, the interpretation of our words is the reality in which we live. What would you like to create as two bring the inside out? Okay, bye everyone.